Because I've got half of somebody on one screen, half on the,
exactly. You know the pain now.
Yeah.
You know the pain.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like, don't turn off your cameras, otherwise Well, I do think it's an issue with Zoom as well. I don't understand when it takes somebody off the grid, because when your camera goes off, it alters the grid.
That's right.
And I don't know why it does that.
Well, it's the same with Discord. It's exactly the same thing. It just reconfigures all the windows different sizes.
Yeah, it's just like the annoying thing about Zoom, but we love it. We love it. Well, do you still have that issue with Discord? Do you do it from Discord?
I do, yeah, and it's a resource. I won't use a rude word. Hog.
Yeah.
So I've got to restart my Discord before I start the stream. Otherwise, like last time we streamed, it was choppy all the way through the first half because I didn't restart it.
Got ya.
So yeah.
Has Captain got a gingham shirt on?
What's a gingham?
Lumberjack it is, all right.
Oh, lumberjack. Okay.
Is that's the right term, isn't it? A gingham.
What's up? That's weird. Flannel.
Yeah, it's like blurring out my flannel.
Yeah.
A flannel is something that you wash your face with.
It's not like you've got no arms, these virtual things behind
I know.
It's cool.
Did you enjoy your camping, Captain?
I did.
If
like
anybody can enjoy camping,
I went glamping essentially. I got a 10-person tent just to myself. I got a queen size mattress that can hold up to 600 pounds.
In a tent?
In a tent, yeah. Well,
Are you sure it's not a hotel with a?
It's a blow-up mattress. It's a blow-up mattress. So
it's a tent made out of bricks and mortar.
But yeah, it was really nice. I didn't, hold my excrement in until we went to,
I don't need to know this.
Yeah, that was the only bad part. But nonetheless, and it was a good time. We all got drunk and had a dance party at midnight in my tent. I just threw my mattress out. It was really fun.
Wow.
and nobody threw your mattress in the lake with you on it, floating.
No, we were far enough away from the lake that it was too much of a hassle.
Yeah.
You were near a lake?
Yeah, we rented a boat on Saturday to, I don't know, do some bad things on.
Your holiday, don't ask, please, Mr. Pickles. Just don't. I do not want to know. Okay, let's make a start. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat already. Welcome, Q10, and Luke is in as well. It's lovely to see you all in. I know Darth is on his way as well. Welcome back. We've had quite a number of weeks away from the game just because of various reasons, but we are back. We've left M Space with Minsk with his tattooed face, his newly tattooed face, and I'm trying to remember their names now. Newman still in the gun turret, etc. And we've left all that behind, and we've moved back over to Mythras, which is the fantasy setting of the game. And we've got Hazra, Cyrus and Bartleby with us. And we've also got a new player, Rohan, played by Max, who's coming in as well. So from being 3 for a huge amount of time, we are now back up to 4, which means, Cyrus, you can stay out of combat if you wish now, but if you not that I think that's going to happen at all, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to allow the players an opportunity to say who they are and who they're playing in a second, and then what we're going to do experience rolls to see how the characters from who played the last adventure are going to improve their roles. They've got 10 roles to use, and then we're going to actually be traveling back to Winvine, which is a town up the northeastern coast from Lindowe, the main town in Odess, the continent of Odess. But the players and characters have come back to Odess, to Lindowe, to train and to meet back with their orders and sort some things out. Cyrus has probably got a lot of things to say because he's coming back with his orders book of spells. Plus, I think you've got a captive, haven't you, Cyrus? Is that right?
Well, so that's the thing we kind of want to discuss is I knew for a fact that Mel was probably besmirched by an individual, and that's why she kind of went off in her rebellious rage. And so I think Cyrus felt guilt in that, in the killing her or capturing her. So I think with the promise of saying, "Hey, I murdered her," he's going to let her free in hopes that she disappears.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what Bartleby and Hazra think of.
Yeah.
Of,
so there's some epilogue stuff that we can probably discuss after it.
So we'll introduce our characters. Max, when it comes around to you, you could just say bare minimum about your character. Whatever you want to say is absolutely fine. We soon find out about people's, and if we let Max go last, so when you pass it on, so he can hear everybody else's introduction first. And we start off as ever with Mr. Pickles. Go for it.
I'm Mr. Pickles, and I play our group's theist, Bartleby Fumus. He is very much a helpful character. He's always trying to help people. He doesn't really have any way to do damage, so when it comes to combat, he's just out there trying to bring his goddess's blessings down on everybody. He can dismiss magic. He can put limbs back on bodies. He can make magical shields that protect from everything, basically. He even has the ability to mass pacify everybody around him. So if he doesn't like a combat going down, there's a chance I could just say, "No, everybody, we're not rioting today." Beyond his magical powers, he has a lot of knowledge skills. He is literate, which might be worth noting, I don't know. But he knows a lot about history, monsters, and he's learning about poisons now. In addition to that, he has a lot of connections in the impoverished areas of Lindowe, our hometown here. He's a savior of the slums to some. He tries to help out where he can. With that, I'm going to pass on the mic to the only person here in the player group that I didn't invite, which sounds really mean, but he saved me many times. It's Medivac.
Thank you, Mr. Pickles. I'm not worthy. Hi, everybody. I'm Medivac, and I play Hazra Khan. He is a nomad. He's a nomad from the northern steppes of Odess. I won't go into the backstory that much because
I thought you had forgotten about your character there.
No. He went hunting, went chasing a bunch of bandits one day from his tribe, and when he got back, his tribe had gone. So he's been helping people on the way, and when he got to Lindowe, he fell in with this motley crew, and we've been friends ever since, helping people out, helping our friendly tavern owner Basil out, who's a good friend of mine. Basil. You'll find me mainly just hunting and foraging, bringing foods for Basil. I use a long spear, a short spear, and a.
This is going to be such a good adventure, isn't it?
Oh God, it is, isn't it? And a scimitar. It's all come back like a car crash. Favorite skills are tracking, survival. I'm pretty good at other things like riding my bull and cart, Brutus.
Yeah.
Look at that. Did that one up. I'm also a member of the Brotherhood, which is a group of people that keep a track of what happens in all the biomes of the world. And they've been keeping a running history since the Brotherhood started, which is many, many generations. They don't try to change things themselves, or they do try to keep a nice balance. So yes, that's good. And I think I'm leaving the Lindowe one and going to Winvine to find another order there, hopefully.
Interesting.
With that, before I ramble on any more, I do like to chuck a spear into combat, because who doesn't?
Spear chucker.
And with that, I shall pass on to our amazing Captain Kangaroo.
Hey everyone, I'm Captain Kangaroo. Tonight I'm going back and playing my good old pal Cyrus Alias. He's like the protagonist of the group, you know, the number one guy, the person. If this was a movie, like the actor would get first billing, that kind of guy. Truly remarkable. Yeah, he might be has some short givings, but at the same time, I think he makes up for it with abilities and personality. Really just large, over-encompassing personality. Uh,
Very much.
but very
How
much
tall
so.
is he? I always forget how tall he is.
I know, honestly, it's hard to tell. Like if you measure against like bushes,
Is he,
really
is he
it's
about 5 foot or shorter than that? Did we find out?
he's like he's a Michael J. Fox type.
You
thought he was
can
That's
see
how I
him.
describe it. That's
You can see him sometimes going to say, Boss, a dragon, a dragon.
But he's an all-encompassing kind of guy. He likes to he's able to handle himself in fighting, but most importantly, he's a sorcerer of the Red Order, and soon to be, hopefully, a pretty good one at that. We'll find out based on my rolls, see if I can go up a rank or two. But from there, I'm going to pass the mic to our new guy, Maxilator.
Hi, I'm Maxilator, and today I'll be trying out Mythras for the very first time. I don't know much. I don't know how the system works, but hopefully these guys will save me in this, so I don't look like a fool. Maybe.
I never step down a option or opportunity to be a hero.
That is true.
I've been playing for years. I have no idea what I'm doing.
And today I'll be playing Rohan, a deceiving, charismatic rogue character who's got a lot of ability and trickery and all those sorts. And,
Subterfuge.
well, there's not much I can say yet because there hasn't been much yet. So
That's absolutely fine. The only thing I've got to say, Mr. Pickles, if you can turn your mic up a bit, you were just a little bit quiet. I don't know if you're quiet for everybody else, but you're definitely quiet for me. So I'm just trying to work out how tall 1.5 meters.
I like to think that Max is taking inspiration from his character, from Mint.
Yeah. We
Do I
can
sound better now?
say again, sorry.
Do I sound better now?
Yeah, you could probably up it a bit. I don't know what it's like for anybody else. It might just be mine. What I tend to do when you talk, I increase the volume of it, and then Captain starts to talk, and I have to quickly take it down.
How about?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know if
that's
you
good.
sound better,
Does it sound
Mr.
perfect?
Pickles. I don't
Yeah.
know if you sound better, but you do sound louder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the quality's not going to change.
Brilliant. Okay, then. So let's start. Before we do experience rolls or anything like that, let's nip back to the end of the last adventure and decide what we're doing with Melanie. So just for people who are coming new to the game or new to the stream, Melanie was somebody that Cyrus recruited to his order. She quickly rose above the ranks of Cyrus and became a very notorious and powerful sorcerer. So much so that she decided to steal the spell book that the Red Order houses in their Lindowe base. She did this with help of a guy called Insanity or Insane, and they fled from Lindowe up the coast to Winvine, and I'll just move you onto the map of Winvine so you all remember where it actually was. If you remember, there was some attacks on you. There was some kind of assassins after you. Bartleby nearly had to assist in a birth-giving ritual, but when sea goblins attacked the boat, it turned out that the pregnant lady and her husband, which the party paid to go on the ship with them, were actually assassins sent by Insane to sort of like dispose of them. However, through the throwing of various sick buckets, etc., everybody was saved, and you managed to get up to Winvine. You then went out to an old mining village where you did a wonderful stealthy operation. I don't know if you remember it. You actually went behind and killed people left, right, and centre, which your stealth rolls were on point that day. It was absolutely unbelievable.
We were good against the villagers.
Yeah. And then, if you remember, you went out and you had the battle with Melanie and Insane, and you killed him, but Melanie was still alive. And I think that's probably a good point. We know that you're going back to Lindowe, but it'd be a good point, Cyrus, to share your possible plan with Bartleby and Hazra and see whether or not they agree, disagree, and decide, what's going to happen. So I'll hand it over to you, Cyrus, so you can go for it.
I kind of bring the guys aside, but make sure I have eye contact with Melanie so that way she'll just disappear on us. Look, guys, this seems probably unlike me to not go for the glory shot, but in this case, there's not a lot of options left for Melanie. I think she was tricked or through, I don't know, lust or whatever into this position. And it's not fair for her. If we kill her, I feel like it's a possible innocent soul loss. If we send her back, she's going to be murdered or, put in prison the rest of her life. And then honestly, if we don't kill her and just let her go and tell everyone we let her go, she's going to be hunted for the rest of her life. So I think the best option is to tell her to essentially change her life, essentially hide and never use magic again. Otherwise, she will be hunted the rest of her life. And we go back and tell everyone that we killed her. What do you guys think?
Well, nobody's going to believe I killed her, so that part.
I don't think that lying to the people will be a good thing, Cyrus, because it's like I'm pretty rubbish at lying. I wouldn't.
Leave the line to me, but
will they kill her?
They will most likely. They took their sacred book. They're going to kill them. That's why they sent us. And plus, they killed. Her lackeys killed some, or I guess the guys that she was with, lackeys, killed some of our own and many other people. So if it's not the Red Order, it's going to be the town of Lindowe going to kill her.
Isn't that how you progress in your order as a sorcerer?
I will get some accolades from returning the book as a whole. In all honesty, I don't think I need to bring her as a prisoner to get any more political fervor. I think in this case, I know it's unlike me, but her life is ruined either way. But at least now she has a chance at a new start.
Okay. Whatever you decide, I will go along with, my friend, because it's good to see you grow. You used to be such somebody who took very vindictive. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked by Cyrus's
Yeah, 360.
Yeah, I thought he was going to
No, that's
butcher
back where
her
it came
or
from, is
something.
it?
180.
180, yeah. I'm going to do
We'll,
360 and be
we'll
the
say
same.
we'll say it about like a 165. No,
But Cyrus, there's a flaw in your plan here. I mean,
What's that?
giving up sorcery forever, just
Her?
to, yeah.
Well,
That seems
that's
like a bit of a strange thing to do. Why not, if you're going to lie about it anyways, why not just go to your sorcery order and claim that somebody cast a spell upon her, and so she was just a pawn and not really working in this? I'm sure your orders have things, and I can perform a miracle from my goddess to dismiss any magics that could be on her. Maybe that would be a better way than making her an exile.
I know my order, and I know most likely they need a villain to make up for all of this chaos.
What about the
Maybe
guy
this-
that she was with that we killed?
With the, Who
But
is
they
that?
need
Who
someone
it was?
they can point at and blame. If they
We then go back and grab the body.
yeah.
Right.
So
Let me-
once we killed him, she shook her head and came out from like a sleep.
It's possible. We can try that. Let me talk to Mel. Have my back on this.
Wow.
She might do something sneaky, so be careful.
No, you'll be fine.
Let me talk to Mel, see what she wants to do. I'll give her options.
Okay.
See if we can go from there.
Just so I know the general, is this still out at the mining village, or this back at Winvine, or whereabouts?
This will
is
be
this
yeah.
happening?
This will be right where we ended off, which is right on the entrance of that mine.
Okay, yeah. So she's looking quite. She is quite sad. It looks like her favorite person in the world has somehow been killed by you guys. And just roll me an insight roll, Cyrus. As you.
All right, let's see what we got here. I should be more insightful now that I'm growing as a person. How about this? This is where we teach the one benefit of this is when things don't go your way, you have an option to luck it, and I'm going to show Max what that means.
Can I just say as well, start the session, I'm going to give you guys two.
I was just about to say that, actually.
Two luck points, just one each, to do with what you will.
All right.
How many?
We'll do it.
I don't know how many I've got.
Two. I'm just
I've only
thinking
got
that
two.
you're missing someone out.
I know.
Sorry, Balderby, you're not.
All right.
So there's two free luck points there, whoever needs them. Okay.
No point. Just reversing. I have to re-roll it. So hopefully the magic 8-ball goes in my favor.
Yeah, go for it.
Be more insightful. Where are you? All right, come on, baby. Let's do it. 1, 2. Damn it!
Right. Okay. Then.
Sometimes it doesn't work in your favor. But.
So you, she looks quite. There seems to be mixed emotions brewing behind her eyes. At one point, she seems to be very tearful, although you don't think that is related at all to you or what's happened. But also lurking behind her eyes, there's a strong sense of anger and possibly betrayal as well. And even when she sort of like looks up at you from the ground where she sat with, say, her hands tied, etc., just to be safe. And even if you remove the gag from her mouth so she can't utter, spell incantations beforehand, and she sort of like looks up to you and blinks the tears away from her eyes and looks directly at you, and she just says, well,
I plant my my glaive into the ground. I'll look her in the eye. I got two options for you, Mel. In all honesty, both of them are gonna be not gonna benefit me to the most, but nonetheless, These are two options. No matter what, if we let you free, you will be hunted the rest of your life. No, everyone from bounty hunters to other magicians, even magicians of other orders, will hunt you down for what you've done. So the two options are: we bring you with us, and we make up a story of you being brainwashed, fallen under some weird enchanting trap, and all of a sudden you do these things out of not from your free thought. Or the second option, and the one allows you your freedom, but at the same time, you will never have to be able to live your life again the way you have in the past. You will not be able to use magic. You essentially be living a completely separate life, but nonetheless, you will have a life. And we let you go, and we say to the order and to Lindowe that we killed you. But we've come to agreement, and we decided to leave it up to you.
There's a moment that she doesn't engage with conversation at all, and it's almost like she's looking at you. But Cyrus, you get this feeling that you can see her brain calculating what's going on and the options that you've just provided her. And after what seems to be possibly a lifetime of silence, and she spends the time to glance at Bartleby, yourself, and to you, Hazra, and then back to you, Cyrus, and she says, "You will let me go?"
I know. Based on her history, that doesn't seem like an option that would ever come up. But to be in your position, I'd probably want that too. I can't imagine a life without magic, but at the same time, I can't imagine not wanting a life.
I just don't like without her.
Yeah.
God.
Some R&B music playing in the background.
Yeah.
There's a bit of passion being built.
Yeah. Can I just whisper to Bartleby and say, if we just let her go, what's to stop her turning up at any point and making us out all to be liars?
Well, no matter what, she still did wrong, and she still wanted if she did come up. Just because they think she's dead doesn't mean that she's gonna. Oh, sorry, I didn't listen to this. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, you're just that's what I think that Cyrus would say to the situation.
Yeah.
But Bartleby says, I think
I
that Amriel will protect us because we did the right thing. We brought the truth to this. There's no way that people would believe her over us, having returned the book after all. We plan on doing.
We do, and I will bow to your superior judgment, my friend.
Melanie takes a moment, and there seems to be a lifetime of silence before she looks up at you, straight in your eyes, Cyrus, and says, "You would let me live?"
Again, in this case, your two options, both of you living. I guess there's a third option, and that is ending this right now. But I feel like the weird guy in the robes over there won't let me do that. So I think the other two options are probably the one we're going to have to go with.
So you will let me go?
Yes.
On the promise that I do not cast any magic?
Well, again, the promise isn't to me. The promise is to yourself. Because if you cast magic, you will become a target again. They will know you are alive, and they will hunt you down and kill you.
She pauses again, as if she's calculating and sort of like thinking ahead of the possibilities. And then she looks back up at you, Cyrus, and says, "I agree. I will refrain from casting magic in fear of being hunted and slain if you provide me with my freedom today."
Okay, if that's what you want. But we need some proof that we killed you. What would that be? What little piece of clothing or something, some proof that
she sort of like
that,
holds up her fingers, and she says, "I will need these for my new trade. Maybe a lock of hair."
No, something a little bit more bloody.
Cyrus, I am unsure what you are referring to. You
To make this convincing.
I'm just watching Bartleby.
Stop it!
No. If I'm gonna make this convincing and convince that you are dead, I need something a little bit more bloody. Could be a digit, could be an ear, something. Otherwise,
I suggest something else that we as sorcerers value over anything at all.
What is
the
that?
item that provides us with our identity, our dedication, our power. And she turns back the top part of her robe, and you see there her pin, her steel pin that has the emblem of the Order of the Phoenix on. And you are aware, Cyrus, from your first day in the order, in any order. Gulliver, the Blue Order beforehand, had one as well. And when you join an order, you are given this pin, the pin that depicts the associated animal, whether or not that be the kraken or the phoenix. And it really is the most treasured possession that any sorcerer has. And actually handing that over or losing it is probably the worst thing ever. Not only that you lose it and you lose your identity, but actually coming back and having to ask for a new one, or, you know, actually admitting that you've lost it. You also know that the only time ever a sorcerer would be removed from their pin, or the pin removed from a sorcerer, is via death. There is no other way a sorcerer would agree to give up their pin, even if they were plunged into poverty. The last thing that they would prefer to die than hand over their pin. And that's what she's offering to you. Okay. She will hand over her pin because she is aware that the order will see that as she must be dead. No sorcerer would, if I took your pin, Cyrus, you would be hunting for it to claim it back. So it really is a very powerful, it holds no power itself. It's not magical or anything like that, but it's your identity. It's her identity as a member of the order. It would also mean, just to give you a bit of a backstory, remember that, like you said, if you're not part of an order, then if you cast magic, then you're hunted down. And this would be the case with her, because if she was captured, she has no pin. So she'll instantly be seen as a rogue sorcerer, and that would be it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll be it. I at this point, I get behind her, grab my knife, and menacingly cut a rope, even though there's a lot of tension. Like, what's he gonna do with it now? Yeah, I'll cut a rope and say, all right, good luck.
Yeah, she hands over her pin, and she does quite a strange passing over to it, Cyrus, because she stands up once you've released her, and she undoes her pin, and as you hold out your hand to receive it, she gently lays it in your hand, and then using her hand, she slowly closes your hand around her pin, and she seems to mutter something about giving it over of her own free will, knowing and understanding the consequences, and she does this under no duress or anything like that. It seems to be a well rehearsed phrase that you're taught when you first enter the order about. And you do notice, and Bartleby and Hazra, you also notice that she seems momentarily to slump slightly, as if this emblem, this pin, holds her magic. And although that's not true at all, it appears that the orders are so connected to their pin, then handing it to someone else is almost like possibly the end of their life with magic. And that's it.
Can I help out here? And
do you want to kill it?
No. I was going to stick a bluebird pin on her and give her a bunch of berries. There you go. No.
Yeah, you can help out. What would you like to do?
No, that was it. Sorry.
All right. I thought there was some deep and meaningful. And Bartleby, is there anything that you would like to do?
No, I'm letting the sorcery orders do their sorcery stuff. As long as nobody's getting stabbed or having their ear chopped off or their jaw like ripped off.
Bunch of weirdos.
Or toes cut off, or
Sorry, we're dramatic, all right?
Yeah.
Well, dramatic's fine until you're cutting out somebody's kidney as like a warning. And
we got you.
Just to make the sun come up.
The last thing,
you'll pee better now.
The last thing you see of Melanie is that she wanders off into the hills. She obviously feels that she will probably not be welcome in Winvine at all, and she wraps her cloak closely round her and stumbles off into the mountains. And you get this feeling, all three of you, that you're not too sure whether or not she's going away to live her magic-free life or going away to end it. You're not too sure at all. And she doesn't look back at you. And in the end, as she goes off in the distance, she sort of like turns round a rock face and she disappears from your sight.
God, I thought she could start going, let it go,
Yeah.
let it go.
And that's it. She has departed. You can probably you can either take the body back of Insanity if you wish, or
just his head and then burn the rest of it.
It's completely up to you, whatever you would like to do. Remember, it's quite a long trek back to Lindowe.
Yeah. We will take his pin as well.
He doesn't have a pin.
Yeah,
behave.
He did.
No.
Well, was he have on him? Does he have any good nice things? Nothing? No. Hey,
take clothes from a dead body.
Not clothes. I don't want clothes. I mean, like items.
He is
secret things.
No, I mean, interestingly enough, despite you all thinking, or some of you thinking, he was a member of the Black Order, the Order of the Lich, that's not true at all. He has no magical powers at all. If anything, he is a fighter, or rogue, or perhaps more importantly called an assassin. And somebody alluded to it earlier on. Maybe it was love that made Melanie take up with him, or his persuasive nature. But whatever it was, he's definitely out of the picture now. and that's it. So he's definitely he has no pin, and I was just amused that because I said he was in black, that seemed to trigger off.
He's a lich, get him.
Yeah, and then that's it. Okay, so is there anything else? Max, Darth says welcome to you in the chat. So it says hi. Poor Max has to sit quietly for a while until we get back to Lindowe, and then he can
It's
start.
just one more thing on the way back to Lindowe. So
Yeah,
one
we're going
little
to drag
thing.
it out so much.
No, I won't drag it out. Won't drag it out, I
Okay,
promise.
so
It's one
before-
small thing.
Each episode.
So what is there anything that Hazra or Bartleby want to do in Lindowe before you leave?
In
You mean
Lindowe,
in
Winvine,
Winvine,
sorry.
no,
Winvine, yeah.
no.
I want to get back to my church.
I want to get back
People here is
to
terrible.
Basil and my
Basil.
oxen.
Get my oaks back.
Basil,
Brilliant.
Basil.
I do think that one of you had a nice positive relationship with one of the women in Winvine.
Yeah, there wasn't there like a tavern person?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
you guys.
I think it was Hazra.
It was. I sort of saved her, didn't I? Or protected her.
And I think her
And
son.
on the boat, and she with her son, and then oh crap! Yes.
And the son said that he wanted you to be his
dad.
father.
Wanted to be
So
your
are
dad.
you just ditching her?
No, I will go. I will find out. I should just try to find her name.
Maybe get her number, text her back, something.
Primrose and Stan.
That's it.
All right, I will go and find Primrose and Stan, and I will. Hello, Primrose. We are having to go back to Lindowe for a while. But,
Well, shows she sees you. You see her eyes light up. You know, she thought you were dead. She thought you had gone to your doom. And little Stan rushes up to you and flings his arms round your waist and sort of like says, "You came home." And Primrose sort of like pulls him away. And you start to talk about going off to Lindowe. And she says, "Don't. Just don't say it."
I will not say the word. It.
Will you be coming back?
I do not know. I would like to think so. I know we have business to finish up in Lindowe, and then maybe, just maybe, I will come back this way again with my friends, just to make sure you are safe and okay.
Yeah, she sort of like says, "Before you go, Hazra, are you familiar about the mermaid lady story?"
No,
Whoa.
She says,
I do not know this story.
It
But pray
is.
tell.
"It is a myth or a legend from round these parts. Many say it is just a story. However, I believe there is some truth in it. Similar to our situation, a lady and her beloved lived together in Winvine until one day he had to leave, and despite promising that he would return, he didn't. Every night she would wander over to the edge of the water and sing a sweet lullaby, in her voice carrying across the seas, as she tried to lure him back to his beloved. And still he did not arrive. And so, still singing, she sadly threw herself off the cliffs and perished in the sea. However, on windy, moonless nights, it is said that you can still hear her sweet lullaby, luring her loved one back. And she will be forever known as the mermaid lady.
Primrose, this got a little bit dark. It's if I say I'm coming back, Primrose, I will come back. I am not bequest
Don't
to
make
you,
my
but
mummy become a mermaid lady.
Dan, go to your chores. And Primrose, if I come back, I will come back, but we have important business back in Lindowe, which we must do. You understand what we did here. You have seen what we did here. Please do not put these undue pressures on myself. Okay.
This is not how I would like to start a relationship.
No. Hey, come back or I'll kill myself.
She says, go, and I will be here when you return, rather than if. And Bartleby,
Just one second. Are you a good singer?
oh yes,
Okay.
among other things, she says.
Okay, I got it.
Bartleby, is there anything you would like to go? Would you like to say a goodbye speech or anything like that before you head off back to your church?
Bartleby is actually very urgent to get back to the temple. That's being so far from his church for so long has been, well, it reminds him of bad times, being captured in cults and thrown across the continent. Excellent.
So we will head back to Lindowe. Remember, it takes some weeks and you pay for your passage back along the coastline to Lindowe. Please, you'll be pleased to know that nothing detrimental happens on the way back, but you refamiliarize yourself where things happened. You know, the place that you went ashore to camp for the night, the time that the ship...
That's where I taught Stan how to fish.
It was. You remember the strange storm that attacked you at sea, and the sea goblins that scaled the boat, and the harsh attempt on both Cyrus's and Bartleby's life from the two assassins that you paid to come on the boat. Sorry, that was my... I was just like, who actually paid for them? I'm dying to...
That was Bartleby. That was 100% Bartleby. That's
Oh,
because he's too
Bartleby,
nice.
wasn't it?
Yeah, because Cyrus was like, you guys are stupid. And we're like, no, we're not.
No,
We're
we
being
need to get
very
them on
nice.
board. She was pregnant.
And Cyrus again was right.
Pregnant with knives.
No,
Okay.
really, it's one thing I want to do on the way back. It's a very short thing. I wanted to convince Bartleby to transcribe from the Red Book onto another piece of book.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this. I understand. So what will happen is that Bartleby will transcribe it. Well, he won't transcribe it. He will copy it.
Yeah, that's what I need.
And then what will happen any time that you... Cyrus, well, you would... Can you read, Cyrus?
No, that's the problem.
Okay, then.
Why would you want me to transcribe it if you can't even
So
read
that
it?
way we have a copy. I will learn as you tell me, like, so this is what you need to do, like a left swoop and then do this.
Okay, so...
and then that. I'm like, okay, now I know how to do it.
So what will happen, and I've had a chat with Bartleby about this, so Bartleby will copy the book to the best of his ability.
Yeah.
Okay, he will make no rolls at the moment at all. And when it comes to you using the book for anything, he will make his roll then. So if say for example, you're learning a new spell from the book, he will then roll his D100 to me alone. So it'd be a blind roll to me. And I will therefore know whether or not he has copied that section across to you, to the new book precisely or not. So it could be that he copies it across, he might fail his roll when you try to cast a spell that you learned, and instead of going ahead, it blows backwards and whatever. So, because Bartleby's just copying it, he has no knowledge of the language that is written there. He's literally just copying. A lot of it is in the mage's own language, which you can always have an option to learn, Cyrus, by spending the normal 5 skill points, and developing it. Okay, so we're going to go back to, we're in...
Wait. But, I mean, that's incredibly illegal. Like,
yeah.
First off, so if you ask Bartleby that and say that's illegal, if that book's found, I'm going to be killed.
Yeah.
No. I will be killed.
If the copy is like, okay. So I don't even read this language. You're not blind, Cyrus. Even if you can't even read for some reason, I mean, why not you transcribe it? You can see these swoops. These arcane symbols they don't mean more to me than to you.
Does this seem like an accurate statement, Winwills?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's the case, if I can just,
I'll
copy
give you
it.
some of my paper if you want paper. That's
no
big deal.
yeah.
I don't have any paper on me.
That's the thing is, I obviously
I'm not writing things down all the time.
it'd be too powerful of a situation if I knew how to read all the text. Where like, okay, now I know all these spells, and I don't have to necessarily be there. But obviously, this is my way of without needing a mentor constantly for me to, essentially improve on my sorcerer abilities.
So we will say that Winvine is not a very big place, so there's going to be limited stocks of parchment and inks and quills, etc. So, but you do manage to find some of it, and you do manage to transcribe or to copy the various symbols, etc. over. You're not too sure whether or not you've done it correctly. You really have no understanding of what you are transcribing or copying. You do take very much a lot of notice what Bartleby says, in the sense that you are doing something that if you were found out, Cyrus, they would be assuming that despite letting Melanie go, that, killing her, that you are doing something that you shouldn't do. It's not necessarily illegal, but it was something that the order would quite frown on a lot.
No, sir.
So we'll see whether or not that comes back to you. So
Cyrus gonna get some spankies.
So before we do the experience rolls, I thought it would be a nice time to bring Max into the debate, the role-playing aspect of it. And I've put you all in your favourite bar, your favourite tavern. When you arrive back at the Hairy Hobgoblin, Hazra, as you come through the door, Basil actually embraces you with a huge
my friend, it's been too long.
yeah, and he sort of like pats you on the back, and you suddenly realize that his brawn skill is probably quite good. He smells of grease and fat and quite a bit of sweat. And he sort of like says, "I'm so pleased that you are back, Master Hazra. I've been having to feed these people with cabbages."
I'm very sorry, Basil, but needs must. We had to go abroad for some time. But as soon as I've had a bit of food tonight, I will start tomorrow. I will go hunting just for you, my friend. Restock those larders.
That would be a grand job. And maybe leave my gift for, when there's not so many people around. I'm sure with you being away and abroad, then, I bet you brought me some interesting spices, say, or rare fish, or even, maybe a lady.
Well, you'd like to think that, wouldn't you, you crafty old fox?
Well, I'm a good catch, Hazra, don't you? I'm a good catch. And he sort of turns over to the barmaid and says, "Be quick about that. You have to keep them under your thumb, Hazra."
Yeah, yes, apparently so, Basil, my friend.
Yeah,
but
make sure they know who's boss, I told you.
Is our table free?
Yeah. Oh, There's been somebody asking for you as well.
Really?
Yeah, and as you look over, Rohan, you're stood or sat there at their table. This would be a good point. Oh, and Bartleby, you see somebody you know as well, because as you come up the street, you notice that Christoph is stood outside of his tavern further up, and he seems to be smoking some kind of pipe that he never seemed to do beforehand. And he sort of like sees you, and he does a courteous nod to you as if to say, welcome back, but he utters no words.
Goddamn vampire.
I'll wave back to him
Yeah.
very enthusiastically. Bartleby's happy to be back. I like Christoph. He's nice.
And
He's always been nice to me.
And Christoph sort of like nods but doesn't wave. That's probably beneath him. And he goes back in, and it seems that his tavern, I've forgotten the name of his tavern.
Vampires, bloodsucking vampire tavern.
The boars.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
he goes back into the tavern, and Bartleby, as you walk into the hairy hobgoblin, there's a wonderful cheer as you go. I mean, as a whole load of the guards go, yeah, he's back! The Crusader to foreign climes is back! And Bartleby, friends of the guard, just roll your passion for friends of the guard.
I'm such a friend of the guards.
Yeah, and they sort of like come across, and there's various pats on the back, and they want to hear about your exploits. So you probably sort of like say, well, what do you say?
Well, let me just sit down with my group and get resituated in our old seats, and then I'll be back to tell stories and get some ale flowing.
Yeah! And they go to try to lift you up, but then, onto their shoulders, etc. But one stumbles, and they sort of like put you down, and they sort of like say, another round of drinks, Basil, to welcome home Bartleby. And they seem to be singing a song, etc. over the rest. Anyway, so Rohan is sat at your table. So, yeah, you three go over.
As we're walking over, I'm going to say, was that Christoph I saw you waving at? So my voice has gone. Was that Christoph I saw you waving at over at the whistling boar?
There's one thing we all forgot. Where did that one dude go? What inwils was playing? No, the inwils dude. Ulrich.
Yeah.
He went to the woods.
Just walked to the way in the woods.
So what actually happened? What actually happened with him is that
for a man in the woods.
he came back to Winvine with you, but when you awoke the next morning, he was gone. And interesting enough, Bartleby, I think you have Streetwise, don't you? Do you have it as well, Hazra?
I do not have Streetwise because I'm not a person of the streets.
Yeah, so Bartleby, does roll your Streetwise skill.
I would
have
like to use a
Streetwise.
point of luck to reverse that, if I may.
Yeah, which would take it down to a 7. It was interesting that whenever you mentioned it, nobody seemed to remember Ulrich leaving. If you remember, there was a similar situation before that Ulrich had arrived, but nobody had seen him arrive. And this looks like nobody saw him actually leave. And if
He's
you
slippery like that.
Yeah, and if you are interested, if you haven't already listened to it, and you want to hear some background about the character that was called Ulrich, then do go along and listen to episode 38 of Mythras Matters, which is a podcast all connected to the game. And you can find it on all your popular pod site page. It's on Spotify.
It's scary.
Have you listened to it?
Yes. I'm glad he's gone.
It's well worth a listen. But I loved that character. I really did love it. So that's where Ulrich has gone, and you remember him but never seen him leave. And so you walk over to your table, and Basil will bring some tankards of ale with him as you come along and sits down. So go for it.
This is a different table. We could
This
have
is,
a bowl of dupe.
Does you want to describe your what you look like at all, Max?
Yeah, that'd be a good start.
Yeah.
All right. This has always been hard for me. A not very built man, a very average build, not dressed well, kind of unkept. Looks like he's been living a little bit on the street.
Does he have armor?
Just some simple, cheap leather armor. Nothing expensive.
And does he have any weapons on show?
One dagger at the waist with a cloak sort of wrapped around.
Okay. So
Is he?
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, is he dressed all in black?
Gray,
is he-
like gray faded clothing.
All right.
like the kind of people that Bartleby works with. So I imagine Bartleby would probably take the lead here and would say, hello, do you mind if we join you at this table?
Well, go ahead. I'm not taking these seats.
Well, that's good. This is normally our table that Basil holds for us, but it's not a problem to have more people join. I'm Bartleby Fumus of the Church of Amriel, in service of her light. You are?
I'm Rohan. I don't really do much. I just take what work I can get.
Well, this seems to be the table where that kind of thing is ideal. This is Cyrus, the flashy-looking fella here, and this is Hazra.
The small, flashy-looking fella.
And
Size
the
doesn't
tall
always
one's
matter,
Hazra.
guys. All right.
Hello, my friend, and I reach up my hand for a handshake.
I will
Sorry,
take
go
his
ahead.
hand and shake it.
Good firm greeting,
quickly.
my friend. And then I'll sit down.
Basil, did you water this piss water even more down? Jesus Christ, this is...
Basil sort of says, "No, of course not." And he sort of turns around to the rest of the tavern and says, "Don't worry, you know what Cyrus is like. He's always joking. If anything, I've made it stronger." And they all sort of go, "Yeah." I just noticed there's somebody else in the tavern that I couldn't see before.
The ninja.
Yeah.
Assassin waiting to...
Another assassination attempt.
I'll just
Hey.
remove that.
Oh, I thought that was part of the plot.
No,
We
it's
should
not.
sit here with our backs to the assassin.
Not
He's
at all.
Here we
Nicholas
are.
Mason got us again.
So
right.
Rohan, are you new in this city? Are you a traveler?
No, I grew up here mostly on my own.
That's unfortunate. This can be a cruel city sometimes to those on their own. Are you a tradesman of some kind, or are you leaving a trade?
No, I don't really have a profession per se.
Well, I guess that would explain why you're on your own.
Very much so.
And you're looking for work. You have any skills to offer that people who providing work would look for?
I'd say I'm good at getting things people want.
You know what? That's a lot like me in my service to animals. I get people things that they want. They have a disease, and I take that disease away. They want health, and I bring health.
And if they want to die from boredom, he was always there to provide.
Cyrus, you sat through the last sermon he did. It was wonderful.
Oh. Yeah,
He's,
there's no knife to jump onto.
He's not gonna force his religion on me, is he?
Yes.
I
There's
so-
one thing I would guarantee that Bartleby will do, and that is to enforce his religion
to
onto
be-
anyone with an eyesight.
To be honest, Rohan, the light of Amiel is amazing. I think I met her once, and many a time she has shone her light upon me. And Bartleby has not thrust her onto me, but I have more accepted with an embrace of acceptance. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. She is beautiful.
I just love the way you're talking about Bartleby and he's still sat there. As if he's just sort of like not there.
Yeah.
Yes, these hallucinations do somehow all come up when we're drinking all night here, but whatever.
So
You hallucinate a priest?
So just so I know, Rohan, are you up for a tipple? Do you drink alcohol, or are you a water person? What do you like to drink? Cyrus loves drinking a great deal. Well, Bartleby, do you drink Bartleby?
Barley used to, but after we went to that barbarian horde and they made us drink that fermented yak stuff,
Oh,
and I got really
yes.
hungover, Barley
Yeah.
said, "No more. For my goddess, I shall remain pure."
So
And my
what does
devotion went up like crazy.
so what does Rohan do? Is Rohan a drinker or not? And if he does drink, what does he like?
Rohan is not a drinker, prefers to be sober to stay on edge, as this city is very cruel.
You probably, Bartleby, I sense that you might be a bit like Ben, willing to take Rohan under your protective aura, sort of like keep an eye on him. And as the evening progresses, you start to talk about your exploits and what's happened in the past and the cruelness of Lindowe. And Bartleby, of course, you will be extremely familiar with this, about battering your hands, etc. And Basil sort of like brings you home some kind of what appears to be cabbage stew, Hazra, and you definitely think, you're going out and about tomorrow. And Cyrus does what he normally does, and drinks. And I think you have a passion for that, don't you?
I don't have a passion for it, but I could. 'Cause it is a passion of mine.
Oh,
I'm pretty
no.
sure
I know what we did. You roll your willpower. That's what we do. Yeah.
Mm.
So roll your willpower.
Chug,
Was-
chug, 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 chug.
Yeah, you're
Yay!
you're very happy to be back, and it's a long time. You've been on a boat for 3 weeks, and you really start to savor the wine or the mead or ale that you're drinking. And Hazra, you're sat next to him. You slowly see him going downhill rather quickly. And you, as the evening goes on, there's lots of merriment. The guards start to sing of the exploits of Bartleby out loud. And even though, what sort of story do you tell them, Bartleby, about your exploits?
Sewer Jack.
Oh, right.
The job that made me realize I need to finally get over myself and learn the ritual of lay to rest, so that spirits lay to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One guy fell out the window because he was in love with the lady that Sewer Jack was trying to help. It was a whole big thing.
Yeah.
And look, you just got to do what you need to do in life.
Yeah.
And didn't you parry a blow at some point as well?
Oh, yes.
Well, don't get me started on trying to get in with the defenders of Amriel. But
Was that on? That was on the
that
ship.
was just weeks
It was
ago.
on the ship.
No,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that was when we were ambushed in the town.
What was
I've
it?
been
Oh,
watching.
yes,
clip.
yes. And you, yep.
Yeah.
Parried so hard that the weapon flew out of their hands, and it was
That's
embarrassing
right.
for them.
You got a crit, didn't you?
And you,
But I kept succeeding. There were multiple rolls.
yeah.
And
Yes.
they could have resisted, but they just completely dropped the spear.
So you shared this with the guards, and they start to their recount of your exploits just becomes more and more fantastic. And in the end, they're singing how you defeated a horde of barbarians that rode into a small town, in how you protected everyone with just your club and nothing else. And they get more and more excited, and they dance on the tables, and they say hurrah to Bartleby. And
Didn't we actually do that when we went to go kill the Yuktuk?
Yep.
yeah,
We defeat a horde of barbarians.
There's a lot of stories that feel like
Yeah.
they're accurate of what I did.
Yeah, it's true.
single-handedly.
yeah. And it's all like this goes on into the night. And Hazra, are you looking after Cyrus? I know it's normally
I will do, and I'm going to try to surreptitiously replace some of his drink with maybe I'll get Basil to put some apple juice rather than cider, that sort of thing. And
okay.
you see how it goes down.
I
You've
won't
got
taste the
notice by now.
difference.
Yeah,
The
so
hard stuff.
so
Yeah.
Hazra, you should have a conceal roll.
Yeah, I should have.
Yeah, it's probably something
yeah.
that. So this is what Newman used very effectively
Yeah, I'm not
to
gonna.
stash the shotgun in the
Grenade launcher.
grenade
I-
launcher. Yeah.
I
If
snuck
this
a
if this
grenade launcher away.
works, if this works, can I have a grenade launcher?
Well, if it doesn't work, oh!
Oh, and so it begins.
Grenade launcher.
So you actually do manage to replace some of the ale, and of course Basil is really friendly towards you and understands completely that we don't want you're caring for Cyrus,
Do
and
not want a messed up sorcerer in this bar.
yeah, and you probably he doesn't get that drunk. He seems a little bit more tipsy, but easily manageable to either get him back to his order or to stow him here for the night.
Do you know what? I'd rather put him up in the rooms upstairs that I used
Yeah.
for the night, and then I will go off and go hunting and bring breakfast for the morning.
Okay. And where does just before we go for our break, where does Rohan live?
I got a question for you, Inwils.
Yeah, go for it.
Is this an inn/tavern?
Yeah, so there's rooms up above that the party have frequently used. Just to remind you, Hazra actually tied Cyrus to a bed once.
We don't talk about that.
We could leave it at that.
Yeah. We all know what happened last time Cyrus kicked up a fuss in the hairy hobgoblin. That's what's... that's what,
Almost every night is those nights, but whatever.
oh, I remember that. Yeah. So you can take a room upstairs if you wish. You can either sleep in the same room as Cyrus, or take your own. It's completely up to you.
Take my own.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, as Rowan's been spending the most of the evening with us, and I think we've got a little bit of a bit of a riposte going here with him. I'll get Basil to do the room for free.
Yeah. Okay then. Just roll your influence and.
Well, since we part own the pub anyway.
Yeah, but it's going to you're going to use influence, but it's going to be very easy. Oh,
Okay. I don't need easy.
yeah, a perfect critical roll. So if you're watching, if you ever see those stars, it means that it's a critical success. If you see an exclamation mark, that means it's a fumble. Ticks and crosses are self-explanatory. So yeah, Basil.
Basil, it would be a great privilege to me and a great honour to me if you would let this young man stay here in one of your rooms for free.
Yeah,
And I'll be bringing you meats tomorrow. Trust me.
he sort of like says, for you, Azra, I'll do anything. You know, we're mates, aren't we, Azra?
We are mates, Basil.
Yeah.
You know we are.
We look after each other, and you
Yeah,
bring
and
me.
I will give him an embrace, and I will give him a good pat on the back.
Oh, this will your born skill.
Yeah, I should have done this after the fact. Yeah, it's more like a stroke, a gentle stroke.
You tried to get your arms round him, and he sort of like goes, "Hey up, Azra, let's not do that tonight," he says, and sort of like signals you. He says, "You get your mate up to bed, and we'll see how everyone feels in the morning. But yeah, and don't forget, I'm desperate for some meat at the moment."
Yes, so sorry.
Came out of it.
Who started the giggle?
unconscious.
Who started the giggle? I think I can guess who started it.
I don't know. I had a cough. I had something in my throat.
Yeah.
So, similar to Basil.
Okay, so people go to sleep. Bartleby, Hazra, are you going back to your cabin? And that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll be going back to my cabin. I'm going to make sure that everything's fine. I've been Brutus would have been looked after.
Yeah.
And my other priorities then to get traps out before I go to sleep. And make sure we have some food, some meats to eat in the morning.
And Bartleby, you're going back to your order, your church, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I need to check in with Margot Aura, but then other than that, it's
yeah.
just,
Okay then, so let's take our break there. It's 30:30, so we'll take 15 minutes. So we'll be back up 1:45, so we can all grab a drink and take tablets and medication, etc., etc. Don't forget. And yeah, so we'll be back at 1:45, and when we come back, players, we'll do experience rolls first, and then we'll talk about anything that you want to do. I'll give you the background to why you're going back to Winvine then, and then you can tell me what you want to do before we leave. Okay, thank you if you're watching and supporting the channel. I really do appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying it. But please do take the opportunity to go and stretch your legs, grab another beer or whatever, and so don't talk about what we were talking before, please. Captain, I saw that go across your face as if to say...
You say grandma?
So before we go any further now, we go to the players are going to spend their experience rolls. So just to let you know, there's no levels in Mythras. What happens is that players use experience rolls to increase their skills. Hi, Rydron, and thank you for welcoming us back, Darth, as well. So what happens is that they elect a skill that they would like to improve. Generally, if it's a skill that they already have, it takes 1 skill point. If it's a completely new skill, it takes 3 skill points to learn it initially. And if it's a spell, then it costs 5 skill points. And then what happens is that they look at their skill level. So say, for example, their skill level was 56. They roll a percentile dice, add on their intelligence, and if the result is either the same as the skill level or higher, then they roll a 1d4, add on 1, and that's how much their skill increases by. If they get below their skill level on their roll, then it only increases by 1 point. Players, if you have any fumbles now, make sure you add on a skill point as a matter of course. So if a player fumbles at anything, they automatically get a skill improve when we get back to base. characters that might have a low charisma score get less skill points. They don't get the same as everybody else. So yeah, the party have got 10 to play with. They're back in Lindowe. And Mr. Pickles, we will start with you. How do you wish to spend your 10 skill points?
I'm going to make this real easy. The first 7 are going into my new weapon. 3 points to buy my new skill. I'm calling it Amriel Guides Me.
Okay.
It's to use a staff defensively after my massive success in the last adventure. So the first 3 to buy it, and then 4 points to increase it a little bit as I train with the Defenders of Amriel.
Okay, so just to let people, will they? I'm assuming the rest of the party would know about Defenders of Amriel.
Oh yeah, Bartleby is going to be talking about it for the next amount of time before we leave. He's obsessed.
In between, Bartleby and I have been talking about what do the clerics of Amriel actually do, and we decided that there was various factions within the devotees of Amriel, and one of these are the Defenders, and their role, they learn a staff, a quarter staff, but they can only use it defensively. So they're not attacking, but they can defend with them. And of course, Bartleby also has his shield spell that he can do. And this sort of like was created after, you mentioned it before the break, Bartleby's excellent parrying. He does have the skill to hit with it if he wishes, but essentially it's there to parry. So if you imagine that the temple was getting overrun by goblins, the defenders would carry on blocking the attack as the rest of the healing theists sort of like ran off, etc. Okay, so because it's a combat spell, a combat style, it will start off with your strength and dexterity together.
That's a 17.
So that's
you're so cute.
So my intelligence is a 14. So here is my first of 4 rolls to improve it.
okay.
Right.
That
That would be embarrassing if I started failing.
Yeah, 1d4 plus 1. Okay, so it's gone up. You've taken 4
19.
rolls. Yeah. 19 goes up again.
Nice.
Oh, it's consistent. Next
It's
roll.
a struggle. Here's my third of those 4.
Yep, it still goes up. Ooh.
Yeah, there we go.
After
Amriel
a
likes that.
bit of practice, Amriel's recognizing what you're actually trying to do. Have you got one more? Or is that
I've
it?
got one more on that. This is at a 26.
Ooh.
So this is me trying to beat 26. I did not. Okay.
So, she's giving your blessing up to 1 point, but now you really need to concentrate on something else.
Yeah.
Rather
And that's seven of my rolls down.
Yeah.
I want to spend some time getting to know the poisons that I was studying before I left. That's a 28.
28,
Four-
yeah.
4 poisons.
Brilliant. That's 1d4 plus 1. Nice. That's gone up.
And then I want to spend a point on folk magic, which is a 92.
Ooh.
Jesus.
It's
now
93.
93. And then my last point I'm going to spend on exhort, which is a 91.
Okay.
And now it's a 92.
92. So just for... Sorry, I've got a chocolate truffle in my mouth. A vegan chocolate truffle. I won't be... What was I going to say? Oh, if a character gets above 100 points in their skill, then that is used as a negative to the attack roll. So if Bartleby has 110 in his staff skill, then my skill would be reduced by 10% to attack him. Okay, Hazra, we're coming over to you.
Certainly, yeah. I put my fumble into my track and also into my perception where I saw it. And my shoe. It was like, oh, my shoe! And nothing else. So now It's 1d100 plus my intelligence, isn't it? Let me
Yeah.
just remember that. Sorry, right. So first 2 points into my combat, which is the moment is 109.
Oh.
So here we go. Big roll.
Oh.
Behaves. That's now 110. And another
That's
roll.
nice.
Oh, that was so
Oh,
close.
so close. It's
So
100.
11. Oh, right. My next one is my brawn, which at the moment is 56.
Oh, yeah.
Is
You're
right.
not very good at hugging Basil, so.
I'm not. I need to hug more. Oh, no. So
No.
that's going to be 57.
Yep.
Another one of those. Oh, that's
that'll
good.
do.
That's
Yeah,
good.
1d4
So you
plus
want 1d4 plus 1.
Nice.
2. So that's 53. And one last one. Oh, why did, oh, there we go. Reroll. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
And-
1d4 plus 1. Oh, these
Ooh.
twos. There's a lot of twos coming up
Oh,
tonight.
2. So that's 55 that finishes on.
Nice.
Right, so my next one's about influence, which is 45.
45, turning him into Minsk.
It's not that. I have some really good speeches that like fall flat when I have to do an influence roll.
Yeah,
You know, when I threaten somebody with a big spear.
I see why. 25. It's
Yeah, it doesn't go away. Oh, there we go.
There
Right.
we go, mate. Hey.
Don't
We got it. We got it.
Well, give me a 5. I got a 3.
slowly getting better.
That's 49. Perception, I'm going to put 1 into that,
Yeah.
which is 98.
It's now
It's now
99.
99. My brotherhood, which I'm going to put 1 into there as well, which at the moment is 58. Come on, brotherhood.
Come on. 70.
Oh,
Yeah, that goes up.
70.
1d4 plus 1.
Goes up by 5. Give me 5.
Yes.
5, good enough. So that's 63. Look, be a lady. And my survival is my last one, which is 77. Come on. Is 78.
78. That's nice. Brilliant.
Yeah. And with that, I am done. Thank you.
There finishes the votes from Hazra, and we move on to Cyrus. Hello, Cyrus.
Hey, everybody. All right. So,
You got 10 rolls.
focus now. I got 10 rolls, and I'm pretty much going to try to focus all of them on getting all of my cult abilities up.
Nice.
So that way I can possibly get a promotion after all this crap. It would make sense with abilities as well, not just with the clout I get from being an awesome murderer of Mel.
Sounds good.
Hypothetically. So the first one I'm going to focus on is invocation. Right now it's at 68.
Oh.
I need to get 3 of my cult all the way past 70. I only have 1 above 70 right now. That's Shapey. That's at 73. So
Okay.
Order of Phoenix is at 68. If I bring that above, and then the other one is folk magic, which is at 65. So I think even if I fail every freaking roll,
Yes, you should be able to do it.
yeah. So, but just in case, because it'd be nice to put other rolls and other things.
Okay, so
We'll
the
see how it
first one
goes.
that you're doing is
Invocation, which is at 68.
68. Okay, then off you go.
Boom. But it's at 69.
It's 69. Then another one on
Yes.
that one.
69. All right. Let me just darn you. All right. Where are you? Sorry, let me just get that up. And then the next one, I'll reroll again. All right. So now I'm at 70. I'm just leaving it at
That's
70.
70. Yeah.
That's all I need. And then next, I'm going to focus now on folk magic.
What's that at the moment?
That's at 65.
65. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, we're rolling this, baby.
Yes.
Yes, and so it's 1d4.
Plus 1.
All right.
Yep. That goes up
4.
by 4 points.
So that's at 69. So one more time. And that's my third roll. So let me do that. Just marking these rolls down so I know what I'm doing. All right, and then re-rolling. Okay, no matter what, that's at 70.
That's
So
at 70. That's 4
Yeah.
rolls gone. I've just seen the cat's tail go across Mr. Pickle's webcam out the corner of my eye. Yes.
I'm actually, because now that was pretty successful, I'm gonna make this very simple. I'm now going to, because I'm now at that threshold of adapt.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn a new spell because that's 5.
Yeah.
So I'll have one more roll, and then that spell is going to be specifically smother.
Yeah.
And
Which is
smother, I think, is pretty cool situation. I
yeah.
might be able to do some damage, do some interesting stuff with that. So I'm going to learn smother as my thing, and then the last thing I'm going to focus on, I'm going to bring up my. Where are you? Let's go with acrobatics. Right now, that's at 47.
Ooh, yeah.
My mission is to bring it above 50. We'll see what happens. Come on, last roll of the day. Yeah. So that's, yeah. All right. 3. 47. There we go. 50. Perfect.
Yeah. So
made it all work out.
You are now officially an adept if you've got those over 70. So you learn your smother spell, which is very nice. And I think Melanie actually tried to do it on you, some of you beforehand, but I think somebody might have stopped it.
Yeah, neutralized her magic a bit.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the guy with dismissed magic who was dismissing all the magic.
Yeah. Was that you, Bartleby?
I was throwing out dismissed magic everywhere there.
That's all we
Just
needed
burning
from
through my
him.
miracle points.
That's all we need. That's all we need.
Nobody was within touching distance, so I can just say I disagree with your magic.
Yeah, and that was it.
Ambrose says no.
So just so you know, Max, when you do your rolls after the next adventure, instead of going up 1d4 plus 1, yours will go up 1d6 plus 1, and that will help you get up the levels quicker to sort of like get to the same level as the rest of the party. Okay, then. So experience rolls are done. Okay, and the first thing I just want to talk through, Cyrus, is you going to your order. Because you've got some explaining to do, and you're summoned to your mentors, Goshawk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
yes, bag.
he sort of like summons you because due to your recent training, you will be going up a level within the order, and obviously he has been your mentor. And at this point with your order transition, and you always get the choice whether or not you gain a new mentor or you keep your mentor. So a lot of the times, the reason Goshawk sort of like gets lower down is that nobody's ever taken him on to the next level. So he just gets the dregs all the time. So that's something that Cyrus needs to think about. And the other thing is that when you arrive to the order, you are summoned to the board, the group of sorcerers of the Order of the Phoenix that sit in judgment, and they would like to know what happened and also how you dealt with it. So let's do first thing. You've copied the book, correct?
Yeah, I'm obviously not bringing that with me. I'll just bring the actual book.
But...
Yeah, okay. It's like, hey, guess what happened?
So, yeah, so you can either RP it out or just tell me. It's up to you.
No, I can RP it.
Okay.
So how do you want to start? I'm up front.
As usual, outside, you are with your mentor, Goshawk, and he's there with you, and he goes in first and seems to give a report. This is not about what happened. It's your potential to be an adept in the order, and whether or not he thinks you are suitable. And you don't hear anything of the conversation. I will give you the option of rolling a formidable perception check if you wish.
Okay. I'm not doing that right now, but okay.
Okay, so if you roll it now, you gain an inkling of what he's doing in there, whether or not he's supporting you or not.
Let's do it then. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were trying to suggest.
Do you wish?
What's formidable? It would be.
You would have to re-roll it if anything,
Might as well. Yeah.
and use a point of luck. Yeah,
I
are
use
you
a point of luck.
using one of your luck points or one of Hazra's community luck points?
I'll use one of mine. I got 3. I'm a little more lucky than the other guy.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
come
Roll
on,
away.
baby. 51.
Oh, look. That would have been really good because it's that formidable. You could have reversed that, but sadly you can't do that now. So you hear various mutterings and you're not too sure whether or not it's going well or not. And you hear footsteps coming to the door and you sort of like back away, and Goshawk comes out and he sort of like smiles at you and puts a thumb up at you as you go in. And then somebody shouts in a very old wizened voice. You just sort of hear, and enter sorcerer Cyrus.
All right, I'll enter.
And he's sort of like, there's 4 people there, and then the guy who's talking. So there seems to be mages, sorcerers from the higher levels of the guild on either side, all clad out in their ceremony robes that are deep red but have flames that come from the base coming up and also from the cuffs. Their hoods are down, and the guy, the sorcerer in the middle, sort of like says, the older one says, "Take a seat, please, Cyrus."
I'll take a seat. I'll play along.
Cyrus is, can I make Cyrus say something that
Maybe.
and he sort of like, he goes on, he says, "You are brought here today because you have the requirements of achieving the adept status within the order. However, as well as having those skills, it is important that we declare and ascertain whether or not you have the suitability for it. And because of that, we have various questions to ask you, quite imaginative scenarios, and we would ask you to answer truthfully so we can ascertain your worthiness. Do you understand?"
Yeah.
And he sort of like says, "We will progress." And he points to a female to his right. And she smiles at you and says, "Cyrus, okay, I am going to give you the following scenario. Please tell us how you would react. There is limited thinking time with this. Here, are you ready?
Sure.
You are on the edge of a cliff. Falling off the cliff will mean you will die no matter what. Coming towards you is an armed soldier wielding his weapon, and he is coming to kill you. How would you deal with this situation?"
Let the soldier use his own momentum against himself. Standing where I'm at, I'll have him charge at me. When he charges, I'll do a swift dodge and use my ability of shove to shove him off the cliff, forcing himself to his own death.
A rather unique answer. Yes. Sorry. And the woman says, "To his death, you say?"
He's coming to charge me. Obviously, at that point, I'm just defending myself.
Thank you. Yes. No further questions, sir. Okay, and let's move to the second scenario here. Yes. and a rather young man addresses you, and he says, Cyrus, my scenario is quite simple. A choice between one of two things. Would you choose your magic over insanity?
So, just to verify the question, you're asking would I prefer to be insane or to use magic?
What do you choose? Would you choose magic over insanity?
Of course.
Thank you. And finally, this is my question to you. There are 4 sorcerers on a boat, one from each of the orders. As you are aware, we have a close alignment to one of these. There are 4 in the boat. In order to save the boat, you need to cast one sorcerer overboard. Pray tell, out of the red, blue, black, and white, who would you throw overboard?
Can I roll an insight? Would either be insight of Order of Phoenix. No, I think it was the
You can roll your Order of Phoenix knowledge.
Order of Phoenix. Yeah, I'll roll that to get. They're trying to remember which was the one we aligned with. Because I genuinely forgot. I know we did align with one of them, only because it was like a war-based alliance. But yeah,
Roll away.
even though the other one, yeah. Oh, sorry. I have. I'll use my luck this
Okay.
time. Hopefully, that we will see.
Hasn't
It's my
been
second
lucky
luck
for
one.
you so far.
It has not, but no, not
And
at
it
all.
could, you think it is the Black Order that you are aligned to. So who would you cast off the boat, Cyrus?
Excuse me. I don't think it's the Black Order that we. I know I'm thinking meta now. I don't think it's the Black Order we aligned with. I think we allied. Is the Kraken is the Black Order? Or was a Lich?
Lich
I
is
think
black.
Shoot.
Your answer, please, Cyrus.
What the 4 options? One more time.
There is a mage, a sorcerer of each of the 4 orders. You represent the red. There is the blue, the white, and the black. Who would you sacrifice and send overboard, and why?
I'm going with the Lich is black, right? So
Yep.
I go with black.
Thank you,
Don't know.
Cyrus. We only have one question left to ask you. If you do succeed in advancing to the level of an adept, do you wish to take Master Goshawk with you as your mentor, or would you prefer to be assigned a new mentor?
Goshawk has been with the order for a very long time, and he's been, even though he has a lot of years under his belt, he's been kind of limited in his advancement. But at the same time, he's proven himself to be mostly reliable. He's the one that gave me the information that allowed me to succeed in an.
Am I listening to the same Cyrus we all know and love?
I know. He is
If I was there, I'd be like, this is wonderful.
yeah, so much advancement. He is an annoying gas bag, but he has proven himself to be reliable in most cases. He has made some dumb, very idiotic decisions that I would not have made, but I think his purpose was, in the end, allowable. So yes, I will allow myself to still be under the, the apprentice of Gasok, yes.
You surprise us with your answer, Cyrus. We normally find Goshawk rather a pain who lacks any ability, but if you wish to keep him as your mentor, then so be it. I see you have brought our book back to us. And what of the perpetrator who stole it?
We followed her through information we learned from Gasok. We followed her up to Winvine. And there we had a large battle. And it was without, honestly, the help of my compatriots. We probably wouldn't have been successful. She was at the time a stronger magician than I was. But through teamwork and for fortitude and for some interesting strategies, we were successful and I slew her. And then at that point, I print out her
Oh, nice.
pin.
Very dramatic. For
Yeah.
And they're sort of
She
like,
will no longer be an issue for you.
they sort of like, there's a soft murmur going around the table, and it's sort of like people saying, is that her pin? It is a pin. She must truly be dead. And the old man takes hold of it and grabs it in his gnarly hand and brings it towards him, examines it, and says, it is indeed her pin. And as we know, no sorcerer will take leave of their pin unless they are, shall we say, dealt with. We thank you for your service, Cyrus. We have been wondering whether or not you were suitable for the order with your past exploits, but it seems that you have somewhat changed tact, and you seem to be following the route and journey that makes you more secure and part of our order. We have a task for you, Cyrus. We have not travelled to Winvine in some time, so we ask you to return there for about a month to see and bring back with you any people that you notice has that spark or potential in the magic area. I will provide you with a somewhat semi-magical item. It is but a crystal on a chain, but held by any child or adult who possesses the power. You will notice that the crystal slowly starts to revolve in circles. You do not need to ask them to cast a spell, but please do return with either a report that no magic exists in Winvine or with the people who have potential. Do you have any questions?
No, I understand. And I will commit it. By the way, here's the book.
Thank you. And they all
Present on the table.
They all stand up, and he puts one hand on the book, and they say in unison, by the powers invested in us within the Red Order, we proclaim your increase in rank to that of adept. Use your new powers wisely, Cyrus. We do not want to have to demote you. And you turn and leave, and Goshawk looks at you expectantly and says, well?
Looks like I'm stuck with you for now, but at least I get to wear cooler looking robes now.
Oh, he says, I thought you were going to ditch me, Cyrus, but yes, let's go celebrate, shall we?
Fine.
And he takes you down to his bottom basin room and opens what appears to be a rather vintage bottle of port or brandy or something like that. Meanwhile, back at the Church of Amriel, after working out with his staff and building up a sweat wielding his staff around with defensive poses, you are summoned, Bartleby, to the head of the order, who wishes to have a conversation with you.
Well, that's exciting news. I will go immediately.
And you head up there, and as you come to the door, there's on the pews outside, almost like a little waiting room, there seems to be a teenage boy, maybe probably early 20s. He seems to be quite physically well built. It's not that he's overweight or anything like that. You do notice as you pass that he seems to have a blackened eye, and the side of his lip is rather enlarged as if he's been punched in it. And as you pass him, he looks up, and almost like you hear him give out a tut and a sigh as he goes, oh, like that. And you sort of like knock on the door, and you are invited in. And a rather beautiful lady that this is not your mentor, this is the head of the church at Lindowe. She's dressed in white robes, she has blonde hair that is braided, and you're not too sure to start off. You think she has this unnatural angelic glow around her, but you soon come to realize that she is standing in a perfect position from the window high up that seems to naturally shine down when the sun is up, and she's taken full advantage of it. And she talks to you in a quite lyrical voice. She's quite softly spoken, but you feel if she was providing sermons, her voice would carry, but not only carry, but engage as well. And she addresses you as her friend, and she says, "My dear friend, Bartleby, welcome. And thank you for all the service you have given us up to this day. How is your relationship with her ladyship?"
My relationship with Amriel is strong as ever. My devotion is unwavering. It is an honor to be brought up here to see you today.
Yes, it is this unnerving commitment and devotion to Our Lady that brings you into my presence, for she has spoken to me. She has been impressed with your willingness to embrace the less fortunate within the town of Lindowe, and we notice how you have once more built up relationships with the less fortunate. And yes, many of our orders see this as a negative and see that you are preaching to the poor and the lowly instead of embracing the more, shall we say, rich members of our congregation. However, I do not think this, Bartleby. I think you have the power, the oratory skill to embrace a new town. So you are away from our procedures here. So you have that freedom to spread your wings and embrace your own congregation far from Lindowe. Do you feel ready for this?
I certainly do. I do feel ready for this opportunity.
Just roll your insight if you wish. You can elect not to roll it if you don't want to. It's up to you.
No, you don't need to know that they're pushing you out because of all the rich stuff for them.
I would like to spend a point of luck to get a reverse here.
Yeah. you definitely get the feeling that she's showering you with praise to her own ends.
Yeah, I'm used to that, I guess. And that's probably why Barley pauses for a moment and then says, "Yeah, I can do that."
Wait, and we have one more task for you. You may have seen a most unfortunate initiate sitting outside my office.
Indeed.
He is somewhat unsuitable for the order of Amriel. He has great, shall we say, passion in the physical side of things. He is quick to anger. He is quick to hit and cause injury to not only other initiates of his age, but also to one of our most serious senior clerics in this building. But we know you are strong with Amriel, and we know that you will be able to change him and bring him closer to the light. I prayed for this, and Amriel has spoken. You are to take Madius with you. You are to be his carer, his mentor, and seek to bring him closer to the warm embrace of Amriel herself. We would like you to take Madius and go to Winvine and see whether or not the people there are able to be embraced with Amriel. If not, we can leave the heathens and pagans to their own devices. Do you understand your mission?
I understand what is expected of me, and I accept this. I will do my best to bring Madius to the light.
Yes. Hopefully you will be able to succeed where we have all failed. He will be ready for you when it is time to depart. Is there anything that Bartleby would like to do in the church? Hazra, I'm going to come to you next, and then after that, Max, if you can think of something, why would you go to Winvine rather than staying in Lindowe? So you've got a bit of time to think. Yes, Bartleby, is there anything else that you would like to do or say?
In the church, I suppose not. Bartleby would excuse himself because he knows he's not supposed to overstay in Superior's offices, and it is likely unwise to be asking unnecessary questions. He accepts and he heads out, and he wants to get all of his comrades together in the Hairy Hobgoblin, because ain't no way I'm going to Winvine alone.
And you are carrying your staff now?
Correct. Everywhere. It's part of the training.
Yeah, okay. And your club is being left somewhere?
Yep, I am leaving my club and dagger behind.
I was just thinking at any time you could try to break
No.
your staff in half. And
So
then
what
they
club?
would that
It's
might
time to stop being defensive.
yeah.
Snap.
Snap.
Time to beat
In
everybody.
fact, you can put a little mechanism in the middle so you don't have to break it. You switch it.
No, I just think it would be
There's
funny.
chain in between.
Yeah, it would just be funny trying to see Bartleby break it. That would be.
All right.
I'll give
Although-
myself might first.
Yeah, you give yourself might before you did it. Okay, Hazra, I'm assuming that you are going to the Brotherhood.
Yes, I'll have done the hunting in the morning, or
Yeah.
the game trapping in the morning, take that back to Basil. My next protocol will be to do a report about Windheim to the Brotherhood.
Yeah, and
Yeah, Windvine, sorry, yeah, and explain the situation of what happened with the book. Leave nothing uncovered. I'll even explain about how Melanie was let free.
right, yeah. And before you engage with that discussion, they welcome you in and take you to the Spirit Den. And, yeah, and when you go into the Spirit Den, there are places for you to sit, and there's a small fire burning, and there's a sweet aroma of probably just incense in there. And as always, you sit down, and they encourage everybody to try to achieve the state of meditation, to become more in tune with the spirits of the land. Yeah, roll your meditation skill.
I don't have a meditation skill, do I? I do have my spirit on.
We have rolled it before. I'm sure we have.
No.
It's hang on. I'll tell you.
My magic one is spirit worship. Or trance.
There you go. Yeah.
Ah, come on, you little 26%. Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna look that. I'm gonna inhale. I'm gonna sit there. It's not working. I'm gonna take a big deep breath and get as much of this smoke in my lungs and see what happens.
You cough.
Too much. Yes.
You sort of like close your eyes and try desperately to get into the state. You actually open your eye now and again and see that everybody seems to be gently rocking.
I got one eye open.
And nothing seems to be happening for you at all. But they sort of like, they don't seem to be concerned about this. And if you voice it or anything, that they sort of like say, do not fear. Your spirit guide will make contact with you when it is time.
And at which point I will just touch my jaguar tooth.
Yeah. And there's a slight increase in temperature as you touch it, and you sort of like regale them with all the exploits. So you talk about the book, and they seem to be quite dismissive of sorcerers in general, and they talk about them not being attuned to the world and using their magic to change the natural environment quite significantly with fireballs and lightning and summoning creatures, etc. And they obviously know that you're friendly with Cyrus, and they do ask you to keep a watchful eye over what he's doing, because the Brotherhood, after listening to everything you said, wants you to follow. But they want you to go back to Winvine, and they want you to investigate something. And it's something that has been in the history books for a while. And it's almost like they don't know if it's a myth or a legend, but there was talk up in Winvine about animals taking over the town and ransacking the place, and the stories are quite horrific, almost like bulls impaling innocent villagers on their horns, etc., and flocks of birds flying down and pecking out people's eyes. And it brings Hazra back to that place. Can you remember when you went to that place and I showed you that picture with all the eyes pecked out, etc.?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember where it was, but I do remember that. Yes, yeah. That was with the river going. No, was it on the other side of the continent, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it
and
was.
With there's a river going up, and there's a well.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's it. Let me just. I think I've got it. Yeah, and it was slow. Just before you actually went out and led everybody the wrong way, if you remember.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. It wasn't the wrong way. it was the right way for a botanist tour.
It was right. It was a roundabout way.
It was.
Let's just leave it like that. I'm trying to find the page, but I can't find it. But you probably remember the
I do. It's in my big book, I think.
yeah. Yeah. So, what's your feeling about this? Is this something that you would be happy to do? How do you feel about it?
It's something. I mean, for the Brotherhood, who have taken me in their arms and helped me out so much in my attempt to commune with my spirit. I would do anything for them. They're the custodians of my money. They have a substantial wad of my money.
Yeah.
In fact, let's just work out how much I do have. They've got like $5,000 almost.
Nice.
Just sat there at the Brotherhood. Yeah.
It's not. It's all gone on with special meditation.
Yes.
Yeah. It seriously has been spent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, no. Without hesitation, I would go back to. And to be fair, it also does help with a little bit of closure with Primrose and Stan.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to feel like he's leading them on.
Yeah.
And he's going to go back just to close it. And yeah.
And draw a line of it. Okay, just before we leave you, could you just roll your survival skill? I just wanted to make sure that Basil is well stocked up.
Starve.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Survival. That's a very good roll.
Yeah, that's really good. So yeah, you spend the rest of the day or the days before people leave, gathering and making sure, and you probably show Basil how to preserve the meat, what he can do with it, etc., etc. And right, Max, we're going to come to you now. Now, tell me. You're obviously some kind of roguish character, okay? Are you somebody is Rohan somebody who's a lone operator, or is he somebody who likes to be involved with a group of people and like, say, Bartleby and Cyrus who are going up the order of things and gaining more power that way? Or are you more like Hazra, who sort of like keeps himself to himself, and his experience and increase is also like compared to himself? Where does Rohan lie between those two?
I'd say the type that does what is necessary. So go with a group when it is the most opportunable.
Okay. So in Lindowe, there is like the Thieves Guild. There is a group who obviously works slightly behind the law or beneath the law. It's actually linked. There's not just sort of like rogues in there. There's also guild merchants and, you know, people who are out doing commerce and things like that. And then it's got sort of like people who might be shipwrights or sailors or captains of boats. So it's not all sort of like underground hiding around. There's a wealth of people that are sort of like part of this guild within Lindowe. Is that something that Rohan would either aspire to be in or want to be in or not?
Aspire to be in.
Okay.
Wants to eventually move up their ranks and have some what is that word? I won't remember that word.
Do you want people like to be working for you?
No.
To have command over them?
Not working for, maybe be able to use people when necessary.
Okay. So do you have a streetwise skill?
Yes.
So if you would like to roll that streetwise skill for me, so there should be a little dice next to the skill that you can just press and it'll come up in the chat so we can all see it. Yeah, a nice streetwise skill. So you've been part of this group probably since you were, out on the streets. And initially it was just a few boys and girls of your similar age that sort of like kept together. And then you were introduced to more people. And rather than having a place that everybody goes, it's more like a network of contacts. And I think Rohan uses who he needs to use. And he's built up this reputation via his streetwise skill to knowing people. And it's actually one of these people, a merchant who you've probably worked with before, and you can think about that as a bit more of a backstory that you might want to pull on it later. I'm not going to ask you to do it now. So there's this merchant that you probably helped out before, and there's a bit of a relationship, a very professional and very business relationship, and you use him for when you need it, but he also repays that with asking you to do jobs. And one of the jobs is that these group of people, it's like a gossip, a rumor mill, and they are aware that you have befriended these people, and that all is bound for Winvine, and they actually want you to go with them. And the reason they want to go with them is that they want to see whether or not Winvine would be a valid place to extend their network to. Is there enough going on there? Is there enough connections that they can make? Or is it just like a back-end town that is pointless? Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Is there any questions you would like to ask your merchant friend? And you can think of a name for him and then just let me know what it is. Is there anything you would like to ask him before you set off?
All right, so let me get this straight. He wants me to go to Winvine to check out if it's a good place to expand the
network. Yeah,
or the network.
Yeah, that's what they would like you to do.
Okay.
Of course, if it is successful, then there might be some profit in it for you. Quite naturally, of course. You wouldn't expect anything else from a network of people. Is there anything you would like to ask him before you go?
If there's already a network going on in Winvine,
What
should I try to get in with them, maybe?
Yeah, he says that infiltration will be the best method. He says to try to find out who's in charge and whether or not they can be, and he uses this in little inverted commas, persuaded to extend the network. But they're not looking for new leaders. They're looking for new people to be involved with the network. It's not, oh, we want somebody to lead it. They will probably send out their own leader if need be, somebody that they probably trust. But yeah, if anything's already out there, then definitely infiltrate it, see who's in charge, and then see whether or not they can be persuaded to join the rest of the network. Anything else that you would like to ask?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, so I think that deals with everybody's backstory. Is there anybody who would like to ask anything or do anything before we ship you back off to Winvine? Speak now.
Yeah, well, Hazra, knowing that he's going back to Winvine and doesn't know how long he's going to be there, is going to get Brutus the cart.
Yeah.
He's going to take everything out of his house, which isn't that much, but there is a nice little ancient scimitar hung up above his bed that he got from an adventure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in fact, Gulliver gave it to him
Yeah.
and never asked for it back, so he just kept it.
So you kept it.
So I'll be taking that, and I'll be taking all the my other traps and things and putting them into the back of the cart and taking Brutus to the docks, because whatever boat we're going to go on is going to fit my Brutus and my wagon.
I wondered whether or not you were going to take him along to your new place. So the answer is yes.
Yes, have Brutus will travel.
Okay.
Can we bring some ale? A
Yeah.
little bit.
You can bring ale.
2 barrels.
No.
You can also bring a small boy if you're a priest.
You just don't.
No, we're bringing silver coins.
He's an
That's all I
apprentice,
have.
sir.
I just have
He's
money.
the
for
altar
bringing.
guy. That's all.
Can I just say, earlier on in my stream, we were talking about Captain Pugwash and about
No. No. Okay. That's the one, yeah. Thank you.
but how close it was to the mark, because it had Master Bates on the
Yes! Yes! Oh my God.
and Tom, the cabin boy. You know,
Yes.
it's just it was so close to the line. It was
Well,
unbelievable.
I'm sure that's what the Sex Pistols song was based on.
Definitely. So Hazra turns up at the docks with his wagon and his oxen, with Brutus, isn't it? And there's a bit of discussion with the captain. Just roll your influence. They're going to take him. I just need to know what the captain's
What the condition is when he's on there, it slices a hole.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just need to know his attitude towards it for the rest of the journey.
certainly. And I will be my most meaning self. This is my Brutus. He has to come with me. I need him. And I'm going to use a point of luck
To reverse that. Yeah,
Yes.
I knew you were going. I actually said that.
No, I'll just do this little beauty, because I know Brutus needs to be with me. Brutus hates me. Oh,
It's
gosh.
never working out for us on these roads.
No,
No,
your luck
no.
rolls are dire at the moment. Okay,
Terrible.
so
This guy, because Amriel loves me, but
yes, yours went fine. So, Hazard, there's some disagreement, but in the end, you do persuade him to take Brutus.
Look, man, he's my beast. I need to take him. He's my livelihood.
But he does mention that if Brutus accidentally gets washed overboard in a fearsome storm, he's not diving in to rescue him or anything like that. Cyrus
He
is
doesn't have to dive. I'll help him.
to roll that broad scale. I quite like that idea of Brutus in the water and you holding on to a piece of rope at the other end, and whether or not you get pulled in. Cyrus, is there anything that you would like to do before you set sail from Lindowe? Or
How long? How much time do we have before we set sail?
I'm quite happy to, as long as you're not doing something dramatic like traveling the world. How long do you need?
No, I was thinking now that I got my upgrade, I was wondering if I can like upgrade my armor, my robes, maybe even my glaive, make it a little more pretty. Have like a red streaks on. I don't know, just like just it's more for like
If you want,
more for ego than anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to paint or attach ribbon to your glaive, then that is absolutely fine. You've got more than enough time. And if you want to work on your outfit, then that's absolutely fine as well. You can either tell us about it now or wait till next time. when we.
No, I have a general idea. It's just gonna be red robes, and I'm using their
So
idea.
yeah, you can have some airfix
Flames on-
transfers. Do you know? You used to, when you made airfix models, you had to wet them and then stick them on, and they sort of like. So you can have something like that for your glaive if you wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what were you saying about your robes?
Like essentially all of instead of just all red, I'll have like gold little things. Just really kind of accentuate how much of a douche I
Yeah.
am in
And
my robes and whatnot.
yeah, so the best people to do that with is the guild masters of the town, which do you have a good relationship with them?
Yeah,
I do not.
Do you like those merchants? Do you like the tailors? Was there
Let's-
anybody who ever said you should
hold
have
on.
a good relationship with them?
Let's see what
be
my
fair-
passion says. Let me roll my passion to see if I can get past this.
Okay, then. What's your passion?
I
Oh,
hate,
shit.
I hate the council. Oh, I did it well.
But
Now,
I succeeded.
you succeeded in your
Yeah.
hatred of merchants. So
Yeah.
you probably go down the back alley and somebody says that they can do it, and the quality of it is not very good. When it comes back at all, and you sort of like hum and ha. I mean, you probably were overcharged, and it looks good at a distance, but anywhere close to there's not a lot of good seam work or thread or anything like that. But you
I'll
look
probably
you look better than what it was, a little bit more impressive. And Bartleby and Rohan and Hazra, when you see Cyrus for the first time, he's definitely looked like he's improved his looks, his outfit.
As I see him walking around the corner from a distance, I go, oh, Mr. Bartleby, look at Cyrus. Look how magnificent he looks now. Look, see as it comes close.
He's like,
Oh no, it's just stuck on with sellotape.
just painted some duct tape gold and put it on.
Yeah, you look impressive. And Bartleby, is there anything you're doing? Is there anything you want to say to Madius? He seems to be walking a few steps behind you, carrying his gear and your gear at the same time, and he seems to be he seems rather like Tiffin, if you remember Tiffin.
Yep, sniffing Tiffin.
Yeah, sniffing, but a little bit less sniffy, but he seems to be a real grump. I love that background, Hazard, that you've got on your camera, like a haunted wood or something. Ooh, yeah. Bartleby, is there anything that you would like to say or do before
Yeah,
you
I want to try and give him a pep talk before we go, because for the most part, Bartleby immediately went to his comrades to make sure that he's not going on this alone, and presumably after finding out, now he's focused more on Madius, and so you try and give him a pep talk of, we're going to be going to a new land, and there'll be new opportunities. Anything that's haunting you here at home is going to be gone, because we'll be in an all new scenario. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, so roll your influence and you can augment it with your oratory.
Right. Oh, mint.
So that's when people take a bit of their other skill and add it to their skill that they're rolling.
Oratory is merely a 55.
And just so players, Max, there should be a button somewhere that says augment. And when you click it, you just type in the skill and it'll say what else you need. So 11% onto it.
I want to use my last point of luck on this speech.
Okay.
To re-roll it. Last point of luck. And an arrow hits me in the head.
ooh.
Yeah,
Really fight me on this one.
and Madius turns round to you and he looks at you and he says, I'm hearing this. I want to hear this. It's sort of like,
Not really in the right notes. Really.
it's just sort of like, he just seems not impressed with you, Bartleby, at all. And he's just sort of like,
Oh, it's like one of my middle kids.
yeah, that's what. He definitely seems he's going to be a bit of a handful. But, you know, you've got that patience. You've got that patience. So you're...
And Rohypnol.
yeah.
I did actually get that poison or something.
I was going to say, why have you been
Yes.
improving your poison? No.
Marius,
No, I've been improving my poison because somebody here does drugs and poisons every other adventure, and I need to know what he's high on so that I can help him, and so that I can find out for sure that it's not just he's been making out with a vampire.
Got
Oh,
Who you talking? I don't understand who you're talking about. I don't.
Talking specifically about you and your drug problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all back of the bus in that coach.
I think Cyrus has turned over a new leaf.
No, he still has his major
like-
problems.
No, it's like smoking a new one.
Yeah. Okay, so your journey to Winvine is quite uneventful. There's a few moments that Brutus is obviously not used to sailing. There is a moment that there's things coming out at both ends, and you're really pleased that you are on a boat and there's fresh air all around. And with what you've done back at Lindowe and the journey back there and to this, you'll probably been away for about 3 months. So you've had significant time away. And you spent the journey getting there.
As we get close, I want to warn the captain of any singing mermaids.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Just roll perception. Yeah, you don't hear any mermaids
What are these things?
at all. Yeah. So as your ship docks at the pier in Winvine, the sun has just started to dip below the horizon, and it's not dark. It's not dark, but there's that dusky feeling, you know, and the main heat of the day has dissipated, but it's not dark. The sun's just going down. And as you arrive at the pier, the first thing that you notice is that the pier seems to be almost inactive. There seems to be no one around. And to make it even stranger, you notice that a lot of the doors are shut. There's no bars that seem to be open. There's nobody milling around. And if you remember, this was quite a...
Yeah. As soon as we docked here, there were people on the dock. There were kids. There were people watching us.
And even the captain of your ship, who's coming back to Winvine after 3 months as well, is somewhat concerned, in the sense that he says that this is not what it's like. And you naturally ask, maybe it's the time of the day, but he says, no, not at all. And as they're sort of like taking your luggage and taking Brutus off and the wagons, you sort of like walk down the pier and sort of like go to the main place. Now, I've actually made a map of Winvine for you. So we're not just
good.
So I think this
one... Mine was rubbish. Oh, you can't see, it's going to disappear, isn't it?
So you'll probably be able to zoom in and out of it.
Yes.
It's quite big. So there's
enhance. Sorry.
Yeah. So this road, I'm right the way down at the bottom left-hand side, pinging it with my purple. Yeah. So that's one of the entrances to the pier, and this is the entrance. This is the road that you're walking up, that coming up that way. Does that make sense? Yeah, and that's where and you're not in the street yet. You're walking in that direction. And as you continue to get closer to the main settlement, something very strange is happening. Number one, the streets are relatively quiet. There are some people there, but they seem to be coming out of their houses with platters or plates, metal plates, or large serving pots, and they seem to be coming out and laying them in the middle of the street. So there seems to be platters with meats on them, vegetables, fruit. There's even flagons of what you think was either containing water, but probably more like ale and wine and things like that. And yeah, they seem to come out, drop this, they don't drop it, they place it down in the middle of the street and then hurry back to their buildings. Is there anything that you would like to do?
Well, I, for one, seen this weird scene in front of me. I'm going to turn my head. I must go to see if Primrose is okay with Stan.
Yeah.
This is really strange. And I'm going to take Brutus and whoever's going to follow me, and we'll go to Primrose.
Yeah, okay. What's the plan for everybody else's?
I'm gonna whisper over to Bartleby. I'm like, this looks kind of familiar, wouldn't you say? Seems like a donation of some sort.
Just curious if it's to some sort of inferior god or goddess, or if it's to bandits.
Or just whatever made up thing that you guys believe in.
The made up thing that they believe in. Yeah.
You're all the same.
Bartleby is going to try and lead everybody into following Hazra.
Yeah. So I'm just going to mark it on the map for you, so you know where Primrose's house is. So it's actually at the top left-hand corner, and it's this little one, and just put the cross on it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Little Miss, I'm a mermaid. I want to be by the sea, and I'm like 2 miles away.
Yeah, and just so you know, so you sort of like go back to the dock and you start to come up this street. Yeah, this street, the main street. Yeah, and this street is the same. And as you get to almost like the main courtyard up here, you are quite amazed that in any sort of like main street or main area, there seems to be platters of food left out. And you do notice as you get to this point, Hazra, that Primrose's house is there, but the door and windows, the doors are shut and the windows are shuttered down, and round this sort of like area there's like plates out. And at this point, Hazra, or I tell you what, one person decide who's Hazra, you be the person who rolls, and there's only one roll, and if you succeed in your perception with that D100, then you have seen it, and if not, you haven't. So Hazra, if you just roll your perception skill. 28. So if a roll of 28 would make you successful, who would actually succeed with a roll of 28? I know Hazra will.
I will.
Okay. Bartleby?
That's a good roll.
Sorry, my mic's muted. Bartleby will.
Yeah.
36 is my perception.
That's a surprise.
Brilliant. And what about Rohan? What's your perception?
33.
Yeah, so you succeed as well. And as you come to this area, something unnervingly, you suddenly get a feeling. It's almost like your danger sense coming off, Hazra, and you sort of like look around, and then you see heading towards the village what appears to be a flock of black birds, and they seem to be heading towards the village. And as you see them getting closer and closer, they get bigger and bigger. And just as we finish it for today's session, you suddenly notice there appears to be a flock of harpies about to descend onto Winvine. Guess who's coming to tea or dinner? And we'll leave it there. Sorry, I ran over by 3 minutes.
It's all right. I'm not going to throw my spear.
Yeah,
Crying 3 minutes. That's too much.
I think you've all seen harpies before because I've used them.
Yes, you have.
Yeah. And yeah, it definitely looks like the food's been left out for them. And Hazard, this might ring bells with something else as well that happened in your lodge. Yeah. So we'll leave it there for this week. Next time we play, we will be diving straight into combat. If you stay outside, if you can run for cover if you wish, or you can, well, it's completely up to you what you do. You all know
Run to the
you still got time to get back to the boat if you wish. And
go to the chopper.
head home. But we will start the next adventure session with initiative rolls as we go into combat. We will have combat, but you'll roll initiative rolls, and then it depends up to you what you do.
I'll tell you what, it's damn good to be back.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you got your spear out?
Yeah, I want to spear out. It doesn't fit my pocket anymore.
I tell you what would be really good, Hazra, if you could do it, or anybody with a missile weapon.
A harpy kebab.
Yeah. Throw your spear so it hits a harpy and nails them to the side of the house. That would be super cool.
I'm not throwing a spear.
We've all turned a new leaf.
Yeah, we're turning a new leaf. I've lost too many spears to flying, chuffing beasties.
Yeah. So it'll be really interesting. So yeah, by all means, brush up on those combat specials in preparation for next week or next time. Sorry, and also your your spells, etc. Just to let you know,
defensive specials.
Darth said free food and then stock up adventurers and then attack in that order. And he also said good adventurer, nice to see you, Max, and looking forward to see Rohan's character develop. I think we're all looking forward to that, especially in combat. This is the best part. Okay, we will see you next time. Medivac, do you want to say about your session? Sessions. Yeah. I've got Pro Cthulhu on Monday at 7:15 GMT, and Dungeons and Dragons: The Wilderness campaign is continuing to episode 42.
42, 52. Oh God knows. On Thursday at 7:15, and thank you for the shout out.
Yeah, and both of those are on Medivac's channel, so do go and watch that. Especially the Call of Cthulhu is really good, but I like your D&D. There's some really interesting characters in that sort of like group. And you play a warlock, don't you? I think
I do play a warlock. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
So that's fun. What is it? Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
Yes.
Spiritual.
That is always fun. to do.
Celestial spiritual. Yes.
Brilliant. So thank you to the players for tonight, and thank you for you watching the stream. Thank you for coming along and joining us tonight. So until next time, please look after yourself, stay healthy and safe, but always remember to stay positive. So it's goodbye from me, goodbye, and it's good night from them.
Bye, you silly Billies. Oh my God, I can't wait till next week. Yeah.